because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away. And I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for. And I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down.
Consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries.
Boxing analysts have recently pointed out what they see as a critical weakness in Terence Crawford's training clips. Gareth, who initially leaned toward Crawford as the favorite against Canelo Alvarez, has since changed his mind. As fight night draws closer, he now sides with Canelo, suggesting that Crawford is about to face a kind of power and pressure he has never experienced before. This shift reflects a growing belief that Crawford may not be ready to handle Canelo's physical strength at the elite level.
Early on, very close rounds in the first 3 or 4. We'll be divided on who's winning. I think Canelo will get going in the second third of the fight and land some big shots. I think Crawford will look good as well. Rounds 6 to 9, we'll be looking at who's getting ascendancy in the fight. Crawford will have weathered the storm of the big Canelo punches, countered himself, still close rounds. I think Canelo will push away and, in my view, will win the fight. Because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away. And I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for. And I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down. And if he does go down, he'll get up. I think it'll be a very, very close affair. And I think even if in those last 6 rounds, Crawford's got Canelo's number in terms of movement and timing, I still think if it's very close in rounds, I think it'll either be a draw or a narrow points decision for Saul Canelo Alvarez that everybody feels is very controversial, and then they'll do it again. That's how I see it playing. That's the plot, if you like, with the subplots in the drama of one of the biggest fights we've seen in Vegas since.
Gennady Golovkin's coach has offered a bold prediction, warning that Crawford's endurance may not hold up at the higher weight. He expects that by the 4th round, fatigue could begin to set in. The trainer explained that the added muscle and sudden body changes may slow Crawford down. Since Crawford has never fought at this weight before, the adjustments required are massive. Carrying more bulk can sap energy quickly and frustrate even the best boxers. Without careful pacing, Crawford risks exhausting himself before the fight reaches its later stages.
Triple G's former trainer said that Crawford's gonna be quick in the first 4 rounds, but once Canelo figures him out and actually starts hitting Terence Crawford, in which Sanchez described as, quote, like a huge truck hitting him, it'll be game over for Terence Crawford. He explained that Crawford may not have the legs for someone like Canelo in the 168-pound division. Sanchez also added that if Canelo was eventually gonna be Crawford's endgame, then Crawford should have jumped weight divisions a while back. Now, Crawford could have technically done that after the Spence fight. However, his once-a-year fight schedule prevented that from happening.
There are also reports hinting that Crawford might be dealing with a shoulder issue during his preparations for the Canelo fight. Although nothing has been confirmed, even the possibility has raised alarm among fans and commentators. Crawford's career has often been managed with long breaks between fights, giving him time to recover fully. This time, the quick turnaround hasn't given him that same recovery period. Any lingering discomfort could carry into fight night. Shoulder health is vital in boxing, as it affects both punching speed and defensive reactions. Even a minor injury could reduce his snap and power, while also making him hesitant during exchanges. Against a heavy hitter like Canelo, hesitation could prove disastrous. If the injury is real, it increases the risk of what was already a dangerous matchup.
Solitary training camp and in every single solitary fight. A guy that is as old as Terence Crawford, 37, 38 years old, is going to have some type of injuries. They're going to have some type of old nagging type of stuff, especially a guy that works as ridiculously hard as Terence Crawford does. That was just a matter of time before wear and tear is going to start going and things are going to start popping off and going wrong, right? Also, you can tell that the reason that this is kind of consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries and gives his body time to heal up. And as a result, he's ready to go during fight time. So I wouldn't put too much on this. I would say though that if you're a gambling person, man, you should probably want to keep your money in your pocket for this particular fight, man, because this thing can absolutely positively go either way with between the two of these guys. Canelo Alvarez is an exceptional fighter, much bigger than Terence Crawford is, or been fighting at a much bigger weight class than Terence Crawford has been fighting at, and much more experienced at that level at 168 pounds. But Terence Crawford is just such a superb fighter and such an intelligent fighter in there that you can know that he's going to be coming there to fight, and he's got a significant chance to win that fight. Unless, of course, that injury is real. I mean, and it is significant and is preventing him from, really sitting down on his punches, because he's going to have to at a point in time with Canelo Alvarez is going to have to do something to get him up off of him.
Keith Thurman has added his thoughts, stressing that Canelo Alvarez, though not unbeaten, remains a highly dangerous fighter. He explained that every boxer has flaws, but that doesn't mean they can easily be taken advantage of. In Canelo's case, his experience and toughness make him extremely hard to beat. Thurman noted that past losses have only made Canelo more complete as a competitor. For Crawford, this means that simply believing Canelo is beatable won't be enough. He must perform at a level he has never shown before to overcome Canelo's skill and size.
An unbeatable fighter. That's fine. None of us are really unbeatable, right? But people got to understand this. Canelo Alvarez is not an unbeatable fighter. The question is, whoever he's fighting, we don't question what Canelo's going to do, right? We question what his opponents are going to do, right? It's not even really about Canelo. Canelo's going to show up as Canelo Alvarez, right? Ginger boy. So the question is, are you going to beat him? And are you going to beat him today? Like when fight night happens, is it you and is it now? You ready to beat him now? He's not unbeatable. Maybe you can beat him, but are you going to do it? And are you going to do it now? You feel me? Because I thought Danny Jacobs was going to have a way better performance.
Danny actually performed well against Canelo, but he didn't take any chances. He was doing just enough to not get beaten.
And Canelo was feeling himself. Canelo had preparation. He had that head movement, losing to Floyd, this and that. He fought some flat-footed fighters. He got used to getting his head here and there and ducking down and then pulling out and spinning out and little tactics. I've never seen somebody make Danny Jacobs miss so many punches. It was highly impressive. I did not expect that, because of the amateur pedigree growing up with Danny Jacobs. I know exactly what kind of New York fighter he is.
The recent face-off between the two fighters has also stirred discussion. To many people's surprise, Crawford appeared nearly as big as Canelo, which is unusual given Canelo's reputation for being strong and stocky in higher divisions. While some see this as proof that Crawford has bulked up effectively, others argue that physical size does not necessarily translate to ring strength or stamina. The real test will be whether Crawford can carry that mass across 12 demanding rounds without slowing down. Looking the part is one thing, performing with that weight is another.
With that said, they're going to face off in an epic showdown. And the big talk, obviously, is the size difference, right? that Canelo Alvarez is much bigger than the smaller Terence Bud Crawford, who is essentially coming up from 147 in the minds of many. But really and truly, he's coming up from 154 because he actually had a fight at 154, a titled opportunity, his only fight at 154 last August when he took on Israel Madrimov. Okay, and he beat Israel Madrimov, unanimous decision, to become a 4-division champion. But as you see here in this photo, there's not a big size difference. And actually, obviously, we know Terence Crawford stands at 5'8", got a 74-inch arm reach. Canelo stands at 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach. There's not a massive size difference at all whatsoever. Now, clearly, as you see, Terence Crawford clearly has on what looks like Balenciaga shoes, and we know they are extremely big shoes, and they make you slightly taller. And Canelo Alvarez has on flats. The thing here is, the more important thing is, not if Terence Crawford can take Canelo Alvarez's punches. It's not if Terence Crawford, is going to get bullied around the ring. The concern with the weight is how Terence Crawford carries it himself. Does he start to fatigue in the second half of the fight? Should he get to the second half of the fight?
Former champion Timothy Bradley Jr. has given tactical advice for Crawford. In his view, Crawford's best chance is to push the pace right from the start. Bradley explained that Canelo tends to get stronger as the fight goes deeper, making later rounds dangerous. For that reason, he believes Crawford should use his speed, accuracy, and intelligence early on to disrupt Canelo's rhythm. Bradley warned that the added weight may drain Crawford in the later stages, so saving energy for the end is not realistic. Instead, Crawford should rely on his explosiveness and sharp reactions to try and end the fight before fatigue sets in. According to Bradley, the safest and smartest path is to impose himself early and not allow the fight to go long.
Yeah, he can move a little bit, but yeah, he likes to come forward with that power. But you put him on his back foot. Let me tell you similar too. Remember, you know this guy named Usyk who put Fury on his back foot? Yeah, push the pace on him. Yeah, with volume, feints. Put Canelo on his back foot, Crawford. That's what you gotta do. You gotta put him on his back foot. Hell to the damn yeah. That's how you get it done, man. That's one aspect that you're gonna have to do. And hey, I would advise you to do it as early as damn possible. Do it as early as possible, because guess what? If you do that, you're going to get control right away of the judges, right? They're going to be looking at you. You're going to dictate the pace. You're going to dictate the flow of the fight. You got to have him react to you, not you reacting to him. That's how you gain control of the fight real quick, real soon. Get active with that jab. You don't necessarily have to come out in a southpaw stance. You can come out in the orthodox stance. You know, what's the punch that always hits Canelo all the time? Easy work, the jab. Triple G was able to land his jab over and over. Floyd Mayweather was able to land his jab over and over. Bivol was able to land his jab over and over. You control him, you push him back, you walk forward. Anytime Canelo give you an inch going back, you take that inch going forward. That's how you gonna get this done. You gonna have to be brave, my man, Crawford. You gonna have to be brave. You gonna have to be on your P's and Q's when you walking forward as well, because he will snap back. He will snap back with them left hooks, right hands to the body, or looping right hands over the top, or even straight right hands. Sometimes he might even come with a two-piece combination. But you got to put him on his back foot as often as possible, man. With your how cerebral you are, with your feints, with your movement, snapping that jab.
On the other side, Crawford's sparring partner Al Stanton has provided a more encouraging picture. Having trained with him directly, Stanton described Crawford as powerful, sharp, and capable of standing his ground, even against larger fighters. He insisted that Crawford has adjusted smoothly to the new weight and is not struggling the way some critics expect. This insider perspective suggests that Crawford's natural athleticism and determination are allowing him to handle the challenge while still maintaining his core style.
He's very good at kind of holding fighters, putting his weight on them. You're a big boy for 168, Al, so how did he manage and cope with that when you kind of picture Canelo doing that to him?
Nah, he's strong. That man is strong. He's strong. So I don't think he'll have a problem, you know what I'm saying, with that.
What do you think, from your takeaways from that sparring, is the key for Terence to defeat Canelo Alvarez?
Just use his skills. I think he has the better skills, and I'd say just box him, you know what I mean? Just box him the whole night.
Given your experiences with him, and as you mentioned, you know, he's strong in those sparring sessions, do you have no doubts then that when he's in there at 168, he'll feel fully fledged and capable of performing for those 12 rounds?
Yeah. For 37 years old, like, he's training like he's like 25. Like, I don't think there'll be no problem at all with the fight.
What do you think he has to be mindful of that Canelo can produce? What do you think he has to be wary of in that fight?
Power. That's it. Just power.
Former welterweight champion Shawn Porter has also analyzed Crawford's weight gain, highlighting the measured approach behind it. Porter explained that Crawford added pounds gradually, giving his body time to adapt at each step. This method avoids unnecessary stress and keeps his speed intact. Porter observed that Crawford's added weight appears well distributed, meaning his mobility has not been compromised. For a fighter who relies on agility, this careful balance could be crucial against someone as seasoned and strong as Canelo.
Thing a fighter can do when he's trying to gain 10 pounds to fight at another weight class is hit the weights, up your protein and things of that nature. I saw the man eat. The man is eating brilliantly. You know, he's doing it all right. And that's